My name is Joanna. I'm a dietitian at Form Health. Some of you may know me because we chit-chat once in a while, talk about nutrition. Some of you may not, but here I am. I've been with Form Health for a while, and part of my my passion, my hobby is cooking. I used to love cooking. Now I just wish someone did it for me, but I still do it. And it's fun because it's necessary. If we want to feel or eat well, we need to learn how to prepare a few dishes. And you don't need to be gourmet chef, just making a few dishes that are quick, that are healthy, and you can sort of put it in a, you can dazzle people with it. Feed yourself and dazzle others. So that's my motto. All right, so today we're going to make 3 soups, and I had a really hard time deciding what I wanted to make. I love soups that are very sort of strong flavors. I love curries. I love, you know, African peanut stews and all this stuff. But I decided to select three dishes. One is the creamy chicken white chili that you will love, and whoever you invite for dinner will love it as well. I promise you. And then we'll make a sort of Italian meatball vegetable soup, very healthy, but it's you know, takes a little love, a little time. So that's what we're going to make. And then I'm going to show you how to put together in like 5 or 10 minutes a pot sticker or Asian flavor soups that you can really assemble on the fly. So, and we'll talk about other stuff. But before we get even to the cooking, let's talk more about sort of satiety, why soups are great for us. First of all, it's cold here. We are in the middle of the winter, at least I'm in Boston, so the weather is not the best. So having a bowl of soup is so warming soul and your body. So it's a great sort of, you know, a dish to eat during cold days or nights. But also soups are very filling, and you can put a lot of different ingredients in them. So you can really put a lot of vegetables because we would like to eat more vegetables. And you can also add a lot of different protein in it and make it a sort of one-stop nutrition dish. So soups or stews are amazing. I highly recommend that you making them. They take a lot of volume in the stomach, so they sort of have a high satiety index, if you could say. And soups are also great for making ahead. We're all busy, right? So often I will cook over the weekend. I will make a stew, I will make a soup, and you can always freeze half of it for later. You can put in a containers, you can put a note, delicious white chili, and boom, and you can always, you know, quickly use it throughout the week or next month or whenever. So soups are really, really good for that. If we're talking about satiety, there are a few elements, and I sent you a handout, what increases our satiety. When we're trying to lose weight, we are trying to eat fewer calories at sort of, this is the basic premise of weight loss. So eating less calories, but we don't want to be hungry, right? So increasing the satiety through food is very important. And there are few things that really makes our satiation higher. Water, believe it or not, fluid.
Any way to tighten these? It's hurting my glands in my face.
Someone is doing something about the glands. So if you don't want to be heard, you can put yourself on mute. There's a little microphone. Not sure who was talking, but if you don't want to talk about publicly about anything, put yourself on mute. It's much easier. So anyhow, so our soups, our satiety, water or fluid, when goes to the stomach, expands the stomach, the walls of the stomach, and we have in the stomach hormone called ghrelin, and ghrelin is our hunger hormone. So when our stomach is skinny mini, the ghrelin goes up and it gives us signal, eat, hungry, food. When the stomach start expanding a little, the walls, so by eating more vegetables, more fluid, the ghrelin goes down and say, okay, well, I'm fine. This is one of the mechanisms that we would like to use for our advantage. So increase satiety, add fluids, and that's why sometimes they say drink 2 glasses of water before your meals will help you not feel hungry. And then also vegetables, so fiber in vegetables or fruits also help that expansion and increase satiety. Fat it helps you to last longer, the satiety. If you drink just 2 glasses of water, probably half an hour later, be like, okay, I'm hungry again. But if you have your fluid, your vegetables, and adding a little fat to it actually increase the satiety for much, much longer. And guess what? The protein also are a wonderful tool to increase satiety as well. So those elements. So when you look at your meal, think about it, okay, does it have fiber, vegetables and fruits, doesn't have enough protein, and you can add other stuff to it. A little fat, a little bit of olive oil, avocado, little nuts also increase your satiety. And when after eating the meal, you'll be good for a couple hours. Will stick to your ribs, basically. Okay, so we know about sort of how to increase satiety on fewer calories. Look at closely at the handout, and it also talks about dry fruits versus whole foods, right? Like grapes versus raisins. 100 grams of grapes will have 70 calories. 100 grams of raisins will have 300 calories and way much more sugar. So keep in mind that, again, eating whole fruits or whole vegetables will be much better versus dry. All right, now let's get cooking because we have a lot to do and only 1 hour. So let's talk about how we can take our soups and stews to a different level. And I'm going to ask some of you, tell me, what do you think, what is the most, like, what tricks do you use to make a good soup? Anybody? I'm sure you have a lot of tricks. I'm sure some of you are amazing cooks and chefs.
Fresh ingredients.
Mm-hmm. Fresh ingredients, definitely. Mm-hmm. What else?
Homemade stocks.
Yes, yes. And don't log out if I tell you that homemade stock is the best, but it is. What else? Adding fresh herbs, sometimes it can really elevate your soups, takes it to the next level. Always when you have onion and garlic and your celery and carrot, saute that first, because that will again develops the flavors, caramelize it way much better than just throwing. Sometimes if you don't have time, that's fine. But if you have the time, put a little oil and saute that. It will basically develop much intense flavor. So first is stock or broth. So yes, I mean, what I did, last weekend, I bought the whole chicken. I put in an Instant Pot. I put water, carrots, celery, I think 1 whole onion, cook it. And I made 3 stocks. So you can see it's gelatin. It has some fat and it's gelatin. This is where the flavor is, and actually has a lot of nutrients. So the bone broth or the broth, the broth from the stock from the bones getting gelatinized and get the gelatin in. So very healthy, great for your stomach. This is your grandma chicken soup. This is what it is. So if you have time, do that. Seriously, get the chicken. And what happened, after cooking the chicken, I just cleaned it and put it in a Tupperware. So this is my chicken. I can use it. See, my dog is here. Rico, have a little, why not here? Oh, he likes the chicken too. So he gets this skin, and I throw the bones and I put it in a Tupperware so I can very quickly cook it when or use it assemble in many different ways. So this I will put in a jar. You can freeze it, amazing. But you know, not everybody has the time, so I totally understand. Another good alternative. So I was doing a little search, and what the you know the greatest and the latest is on stock or broths and stock. So give a lot of Cook Illustrated, other stuff, they recommend those two brands. And I'm not, you know, promoting, but Swanson and Kitchen Basics. So those are, if you come across, buy those. If they're on sale, they're great, much more flavorful. So those two. And another one that was highly rated is the Better Than Bouillon.
That's good stuff.
Right? So you can have, it's a chicken, and you can easily just, if you don't have the time, you can put in a water, a teaspoon. Teaspoon is a, hold on, let's see. A teaspoon will give you equal to 1 bouillon, 8 ounces. So 1 cup per teaspoon.
So good. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I would recommend those 3 highly. This is the best, but you know, this is also pretty good. So we have that cover. Also, when you cook soups, what you can do, save your Parmesan rind. If you buy good Parmesan, whatever the rind, throw it into the soup. It gives much more umami flavor, little deeper flavor. So you can remove that, don't serve that after. When soup is served, I always like to balance with a little acid, and the acid could adding tomatoes or maybe adding a little squirt of lemon or lime. It gives again another flavor. Or fresh herbs, you cannot go wrong with that. Trust me, you can use a bag of frozen veggies, stock, and throw some cilantro on it, or parsley or basil, fresh one, and you have a soup taken 3 levels up. So fresh herbs are amazing. Also remember, soups are amazing the next day. It's never the same day, amazing the next day. So always, because develops more flavors and other stuff. So make it double. You know, you can eat it today, but tomorrow this is where it's going to be really, really delicious. Okay, now we have all the bases covered about what is the great how to make a great soup or stew. And you know what, soups is much more basically more liquidy. Stew, soup is a liquidy. Stew is it's thicker. It's much more luscious, I would say. Right? So you can, and there are many different sort of definitions and so on. Tell me, what is your favorite? What soups do you make on a regular basis? Anybody? Quickly, we don't have much time.
Turkey matzo ball soup.
Oh, that sounds good. We're gonna make that's what we're gonna make, similar, yes. All right, so we start with the, what?
Miso soup. Miso.
Miso, you are speaking very sophisticated. Miso is great. Again, you can add miso paste, a little broth, make kombu to it, and it's delicious. Yes, I agree. Oh, this is good. Miso, that's a very nice. I haven't made miso for a while, but you can buy already different miso paste, red or white, and use it. All right, let's make our creamy white chicken chili. I had it last weekend. Someone made it for me. I'm like, I'm gonna make that for the class. So it's really, really good. So it's a lot of sort of ingredients, but onions is the key. You want to saute your onions because this is the sweetness. This is where, you know, a really, really good taste comes from. So I'm going to, all right, get my pot. And I'm going to saute my onions for the white chili. All right, add a little oil. And I love a lot of onions, and sauteing really gives a nice flavor. So we have onion. Okay, it's nice if you would warm up, but I don't have it. And then when it starts, I'm going to add the garlic. So we have onion, garlic, classic, right? You cannot make chili without that. And then this is a little different twist. So I'm using poblano peppers. Poblano is just a different types of peppers. They're more oblong, a little bit more smoky. You can buy in any stores. If you say, Joanna, stop, I cannot get any poblano. Red, not red, but regular bell peppers will do just fine. So this is just to have a little bit different flavor than your green peppers, but I chopped them, right? So I will put them in. And also I'm adding jalapeno. I love spicy food, but if you are not sharing the same passion for the spiciness, omit that, not a problem. You can always add chopped chili on top later on, perfectly fine. All right, so this is where, and I'm sorry you're going, I'm gonna be back to you. This recipe could be made in a slow cooker. There is if you look at on the bottom, there is a recipe. So basically you throw every ingredients together, you press the start, you wait, depends what mode you press, slow or fast, you wait several hours and you have a ready bubbly chili that it's absolutely amazing. All right, so it is sauteing, and then now, so we got waiting till the fragrance will come of the onion. In another ingredient, so again, onion, garlic, right? Very classic, nothing complicated. The poblano chili, you can make, you can use green peppers as well, jalapeno as well. And what's interesting for this chili is the salsa verde. I don't know if any of you are using it. You can buy, there are many different brands. I bought that at Trader Joe's, as you can see. Salsa verde is made from tomatillos, and tomatillos look like green tomatoes. They are related to tomatoes, but they're not. So if you buy salsa verde in a jar, you're good. It's basically onion, tomatillos, and a little acid, salt, pepper. So that's a salsa verde. It's mild, but it gives a nice flavor. We're also going to use cannellini beans, which is a basically white kidney beans, some people call that. So I have a can of those ready to go later. So how is my sauteing? Perfect. So we got that, and I am going to do my poblano. Is anybody cooking with me today?
Yes.
Oh,
My husband
fantastic.
are.
Oh, wonderful. All right. So it is cooking. So far we have sauté onions, garlic, and I add my poblano, and now all the spices. So the basic spice are cumin, which I have in a big jar that I grind up because I buy my cumin in Indian market, and I use coffee or spice grinder and have it. So this is my cumin. So it's a teaspoon of cumin and You can use a regular paprika, but I am crazy about smoked paprika. Really gives a delicious, delicious flavor. So get that Trader Joe's, a regular store, or if you really want a bargain, go to TJ Maxx. I often see a nice Spanish smoked paprika or Hungarian even. So that's, so I have here also, so cumin, my smoked paprika, chili powder. I put pepper, black pepper. I haven't put any salt yet. We're gonna add a little bit. So oh guys, it starts smelling fabulous. I'm going to add some salt to it. And if you are, you can always adjust the salt, but generally it's good to salt a little bit as you go along to develop a better flavor. So food just absorbs that. So we have that, and now a chicken. So I am going to, oh, not mine. So I have here chicken thighs, but you can use chicken breast if you want even leaner, definitely, or chicken thighs. So skinless, boneless. I'm going to put that in. So and I'm going to add the broth. So now, which broth am I adding? I'm gonna use this one. I'm gonna use this one for later, but this. You know what the beauty about cooking soups? You don't have to follow exactly the recipe. The proportions are often sort of a guidance. Not necessarily, you're not making, you know, macarons. You're not on a British baking show that you need to really make it everything. Soups are so forgiving. You just dump that stuff in, stir it, give a little time, a little love, and you will add good ingredients, and you'll be perfectly fine. So, all right. So this is, if I had a pressure cooker, which I do, but I'm not going to make it. So this will stew for 20 minutes. So you want the chicken to fall apart, to make shredded. So you cook that with onion, peppers, and the spices, okay? So we are covering this and let it sort of cook. Hopefully 20 minutes and we'll be ready to go so we can add other ingredients. And just that you know, the other ingredients would be the salsa verde, the beans, and what's interesting to get the creaminess, we're gonna use cream cheese. Low-fat cream cheese is great, 3 ounces. You can put less, 2 ounces, so it gives you quite a bit creamy, and a little bit of cheddar. And if you you can cut back on it. I already cut back. The original recipe was like 3/4 of a cup, so really cheesy. I put a 1/2 cup. So you're going to make a little less, but this is sort of it gives you the creaminess in place of like people do chicken mushroom soup, which try not to use it. This is probably much better ingredients. All right, so we have that. So let's see, partially simmer for 20 minutes until the chicken is cooked through, and then we add the cheese and we add everything else, and we'll be good to go. Okay. Let me see if I'm missing anything. No, all good. I hope you will let me know if I overlooked something. Sometimes it's just, you get distracted. It happens. Okay, so I'm going to leave that here. Now we are to our next adventure. It's 6:56 and we are making that amazing Italian meatball soup. So this is another sort of, has a lot of ingredients, but all great ingredients. So we start with meatballs, guys. So I bought a pound of turkey, lean turkey, and I throw some shredded Italian cheeses. I found, and I'm sure you can put mozzarella, you can put a little bit, hold on, I'll show you what I found here. Italian style, 6 cheeses. We have mozzarella, provolone, and Asiago, Parmesan, Romano, and Fontina. So whatever, you just add this. You can make the real meatballs by adding breadcrumbs and egg and other stuff. Definitely, if you have the time, go for it. This is sort of a shortcut because literally you just throw the meat and you put the cheese, a little garlic, and you pan fry it or bake it. Again, it's not that time consuming, but it really gives a nice sort of flavor. If you want, so I already cooked a few and my daughter tried it and she thought it was the best. Please save some for me. So I already did this, but I'm going to cook in a little bit of oil on the frying pan, cook the rest of it. So no big deal. But if you want to skip this altogether, go to the store and find turkey meatballs frozen, small one, and you can definitely use that. Or if you say, Joanna, this is way too much, you can buy turkey Italian sausage, and you can also add that. Will add a lot of flavor to the soup. So either or, you can go make this recipe. Again, make your little, I should have probably made them even smaller because they're nice. I don't know, it just roll that way, but you can definitely find a way how to do different sort of ways that soup. So I am going, it should be a little warmer. All right, perfect. So how do you make your meatballs? I'm sure all of you make meatballs or have made in the past. Could you please tell me what is your perfect Italian meatball recipe? Anybody?
In my family,
So
the best type of meatball is a little bit of pork and beef and a little egg, a little Parmesan cheese, a little bit of breadcrumbs, and you cook them all day long raw in the sauce. Yeah.
So often the mix of, if you buy meatballs, meat, right? It would be a mixture of pork and usually veal, so very tender, and so it's heavier, and definitely those are the really delicious, a lot of fat, and when you cook them in the sauce, they become very tender and soft. Another thing, what you can do, the turkey, again, it's alternative, or any other leaner meats, you can add egg, and if you don't want to add breadcrumbs, you can add oatmeal, like the instant oatmeal. It gives the softness as well. And I made also recipe adding grated zucchini, so you have that more moisture, and you cook it in the sauce. Also delicious, delicious, delicious recipe. All right. And if you want, like, also bake it in the oven, they're not going to be tender, and but adding to the soup is also a perfect perfect alternative. So meatballs, again, you can go and make your own from turkey. You can go and buy already pre-made, like look at the ingredients and what's in it and how heavy they are, or you can go and get the turkey Italian sausages and also use that, saute that and add it to the soup, and it would be very, very delicious. So what else goes to that soup? So my savory minestrone. All right, I have a whole bunch. I tapped it all. The magic of preparation. Mise en place. Okay, so for that soup, I have the trio, the onion, celery, and here's my carrots and garlic. So those are what you typically would start your soup with, right? Just don't want to mix our so, and also I'm adding butternut squash. It's not your traditional Italian food, but we want to maximize the flavors and maximize the sort of the nutrient content. And you know how I feel about butternut squash. Butternut squash and I, we are really tight. We are really good friends. I am loving it. So you can buy already peeled and pre-cut, and you can chop it small. It has some starch, but it's a very delicate. It doesn't have a lot of carbs, if you wonder, but it has carotenoids, absolutely wonderful vegetables. You can use it. And so cannellini beans, or you can use chickpea if you want. If you prefer chickpeas, a little bit more bite to it, excellent. And at the end, we're going to get the tomatoes, remember, for the balancing the acidity and the sort of sweetness of vegetables that will give a nice contrast. And at the end, we add zucchini and fresh basil. Guys, go and get yourself a bunch of basil, or you can be like me. My basil looks very sad, but I've been abusing it. Sort of, we went away. I didn't turn on the heat. Not happy basil with me right now. I apologize, but I use that in a pot and probably buy another one and put it in. So you can snip it, you can use it, or if you want another sort of, if you don't have it, I have a pesto. So what I do during the summer, I make pesto. I put in cubes, and this is, or in a sort of tray, and I cut it, put in a Ziploc, and this is my pesto I can use on top of the soup. I'm telling you, it will take your soup to a different level. All right, so delicious. And remember, herbs have so much to offer, not only flavor wise, but also nutrients wise. So this is all right. Meatballs are just a little bowl. All right, they're done. I turn it off. So now we can start the soup. So we have all prepared. I chopped it. I am ready to go with my stuff. I'm gonna put it on this. I wonder how is my other stuff doing. All right, so I am having my Dutch oven. I'm glad you don't see well. It has a lot of specks. I've been learning how to make a sourdough bread, so I'm baking in that as well. All right, so it's preheating, and now we are just basically start sauteing the onion, garlic, our trio, our celery and carrots. when that sort of gets a little sweaty and delicious, we're going to add this and cook in and simmer. And so that should not take too long, because the only longer part to cook is your carrots and your celery, right? So those are the longer to take. All right, hold on. I use some mustard, so I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. You can measure or not, and I'm going to heat it a little bit. So going back to sort of what oils or what to use, what fat to use for cooking, I generally use my favorite three, I should lie. So I have avocado oil, really high temperature when it comes to cooking. When I use my air fryer or roast something, I have tendency to use avocado oil. I know it's not gonna burn. Olive oil, again, this is sort of a extra virgin. You should not heat it up too much. Heating up will destroy it. It will change the chemical structure. So sort of be gentle with how much you heating up, okay? When I was in Italy, we went to olive oil tasting. Oh my God, the guy was like, you never heat your olive oil. He was quite adamant about it. And he was claiming that it changed his life in terms of health and so on. So, all right. So I am sweating my onion, and I'm going to add the other stuff shortly. This olive oil, and I got it at Trader Joe's, is Novello. Novello means basically the first of the season. You know, how is the wine, the Beaujolais? This is the sort of first of the season. They harvest the olives, they press it. So it's very cloudy. It's hard to see, but it's like, it's often intense flavor and has the most nutrients. With time, this starts deteriorating, whatever the goodness is inside deteriorating. So you want your Novello use sort of quickly, use it, great on salads and other stuff, but just be careful. Too much good stuff can backfire. So going with your olive oil, go, it's not going to help you to lose weight because it has a lot of calories. So just be mindful about that. Sweat. Guys, I am so excited about the soup. So some of my patients may know that next week I was supposed to have I have a hip surgery schedule. And so I was like, great, I'm gonna make that soups. I'm gonna freeze it. I'm going to lie on my couch with, my daughter will serve me the soups and I can watch my Netflix. Well, soups will be made, but they told me today that they canceled or postponing all the surgery because of COVID. So I'm sort of slightly disappointed, but I will have the soups. I can freeze them. All right, perfect. Now I'm going to get to the garlic. Guys, it smells good. It smells so good. All right. And now let it just saute a little bit, and then we're going to add the other stuff. And let me check on my, it's still not falling apart. So I am not going to touch my chicken, let it stew. And for you if you make it, sort of be patient with it. Sometimes it depends on the heat. Sometimes you cannot sort of speed up the process. I could do it in a instant pot. Instant pot, literally like 10 minutes and you have shredded chicken. That's why I often cook broth in it. I remember a long time ago, I don't know if any of you got on that train of bone broth health, and you could read in everywhere how it's going to change your skin, your life, your gut, everything from top to bottom, only if you drink a cup of bone broth a day. So I got on the wagon and bought a bunch of bones, and oh my gosh, my husband was like, this smells like dead carcass when you cook it. And when you have other bones, beef bones or pork bones, they really have a pretty significant smell to it. So, and you have to cook it for like 24 hours simmering. So if you have a pressure cooker, much different story. But at that time I didn't, so I put on the stove and was simmering all day, all night, and it was a big production. I never continue with that. Now I just have my pressure cooker. All right. All right. This thing is cooking. So I want, this is just to tell a little bit. So I don't know if you know that, but if you add your acid right now, and the tomatoes is the acid, if you add it right now, your vegetables will take forever to cook. I don't know if you know that, but this is how it is. So there's something chemically, we're not gonna talk more about it, but basically add your acid at the end, because it will take much longer for vegetables to cook and get tender. So I'm going to wait on my tomatoes, and I don't want to add my butternut squash right now, because if I add it to it, it's going to disintegrate very quickly. So I'm having this. And at this time, I'm trying the Wonton chicken broth. All right, perfect. So this, I will let it cook for a little bit, and then I'm going to add my butternut squash and other stuff. But before, the zucchini is gonna go at the end. Before and at very end, I'm going to add, what is this? Tuscan Kale. Fancy, right? It's basically, it's a variety of kale, and you can get in most of the stores. You don't have to, and they're curly kale. This is Tuscan Kale, or there's a different name for it, but it's a cabbage family. This is their good friends, cabbage and kale and Brussels sprouts, and yeah, those are the main ones. A cauliflower also too, a brassica. So anyhow, so you can use that, but you don't have to. For this soup, Italians like to use kale. It gives a little bit different texture. It's more chewy. But if you say, Joanna, are you insane? You want me to go and shop for kale and I don't know where to get it? Spinach will do it. I literally just get the bag of spinach, throw it in at the end. You'll be absolutely fine, and it will give you a delicious spinach or anything. It doesn't have a lot of flavor. Gives you additional texture, nutrients, and color. I love colorful dishes, right? Meals. So I'm always say, get your greens in. So this is again perfect opportunity to mix all of it. So we have our vegetables, zucchini, tomatoes, butternut squash, onions, garlic, carrots, celery, and then we're going to add the greens and the meatballs as your protein source, right? So it's a very nice, and the beans, extra fiber. If you want to skip the beans, you can definitely leave it out, but I think there would be a nice, oh my gosh, my my stove is not that powerful. I think this is the only with higher BTA. So how much time do we have? Oh, 15 minutes. Okay. So as this cooking, I want to go to another soup and talk to you about the easy wonton soup. So you can throw that in a 5-minute time. So that's the sort of beauty. If you claim, oh my gosh, it's 12 o'clock, I haven't eaten, I'm hungry, and I don't have much, think around you. If you sort of thought about it ahead of time, you can definitely assemble the soup within 5 minutes. And let me you buy any pot stickers, any wonton sort of. Every store will have it. Again, I shop at Trader Joe's a lot, as you can see, and those are my favorite. So listen to that. 7 pot stickers has 200 calories and 10 grams of protein. Great. Pan fry it, put a little water, and it's a great appetizers, or you can pair as your whole meal with other stuff. It again has some starches, but it's a sort of easy, quick fix. We're going to make a soup out of that, and those are bigger. Trader Joe's has smaller ones, so you can buy smaller little pot stickers. You can make your own, but who has time for that? This is store-bought, is perfectly fine. So you can, again, add that on and make a soup. So what you need, and the recipe calls for bok choy. And again, right now, I think someone even sent me a text that bok choy is expensive this time of the year. If you don't live closer to store that carries it, or Asian stores usually will carry. Asian store will have like 10 different varieties of bok choy, and bok choy is basically another family of cabbage. So you can use that. I just bought it more to show you, but you do not need to use to make that soup. Again, spinach from the box will be amazing substitute for that. This gives you a little crunch. You can also put a Savoy cabbage or cabbage into that. So you need broth, soy sauce, sesame oil for that Asian flavor. You can throw some ginger, or you don't. If you don't have ginger, you throw this, and the recipe calls for mushrooms. If you have mushrooms, add mushrooms. If you don't have it, no big deal. But adding the greens, I would sort of emphasize greens, and those will, and the broth and the sesame oil and soy sauce will make a very nice, quick bowl of goodness in 10 minutes. I often do that. My husband loves it. So this is a very, very simple. So we can, oh my God, we have to really hurry up. So pot, boom, another. I'm always, ooh, the chicken is getting tender, guys. It's happening. So I'm not going to make a lot of it, and actually I want to use this, or I also found, hold on, I want to share that with you. Miso ginger broth. Someone say that you make your own miso soup, which is great, but you can get this in the store as well. No big deal. So you can use a chicken broth, or you can use this one. So I'm not gonna make a lot, because a little bit just for flavoring. Okay, so broth is warming up, and ginger. Anybody uses ginger? amazing anti-inflammatory properties. It's anti-nausea if you feel nauseous, if you suffer morning sickness. Ginger tea, ginger stuff. And I'm laughing. My mom was just diagnosed with COVID, and she swears that if she was eating ginger every day with honey and a little lemon juice and like spoons, and it's like, that's what saves me. So guys, I should not say it because it's not a anti-COVID properties. It's a joke. It's a joke. Go and get your vaccination done, but get your ginger for other. So ginger, it's a root, and there are different varieties of ginger. This is just the basic ginger. You can cut it and eat, and you can make soups and add. So you can cut it very thinly, or you can just cut it and smash it and add to the soup. That's what I am going to do right now. So I'm going to cut, and you can peel it, or even don't peel it, you can fish it out because you want the flavor of that. So ginger, boom. And then you can add the pot stickers, and you can add the bok choy. I just chopped it so it gets nice crunch. You want that little crunch. The smaller one, it looks prettier if you cut in half and it's floating. It looks much nicer. And definitely soy sauce and sesame oil. And if you want a true kick, the hot sesame oil, this is where I go. This is where the money is for me. You don't need to. Just this and this will, a tablespoon and tablespoon of both just to finish, and you'll feel like you're having your personal Chinese food delivered straight to your door. So very simple adding to it. If you want to make your own Asian flavors, what I do, I warm up the regular broth, I add my chicken, and sometimes I use noodles. Have you ever seen those noodles? They are Konyaku noodles. They are basically 0 carbs. So you can eat the whole box and you get 10 calories. Isn't that amazing? They're fun. They are in a water, and you just put it into the broth.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this is, and I'm going to open up, and they are in water. Okay, my soup is simmering. I'm gonna add this. And I'm going to show you how fun those noodles are. And they're great for if you want to make a ramen, low carb ramen. And you can buy on Amazon. If you have, I buy in Super 88 in Boston here. They are fun. They're really, really fun. And why they are only 10 calories? So what they made are made from root vegetables called konyaku. Japanese use that to make a sort of a cakes, and they put into the soups. This they cut it into little noodles, and they're so cute. So they are in water, and you can see a little bundle like this. And if you can sort of undo it. I'm playing with my food. Don't do that, undo it. But this is how it looks like. So it's a really fun thing to add to your ramen noodles. Fantastic. It doesn't have a lot of flavor. It absorbs a low flavor from the soup. And that's what Japanese do for their sort of stews. They add a little pieces of that. So this is your Asian adventure if you want to go there. So again, I have my My pot stickers, frozen. Look at those. I love them. Delicious. I'm going to add a few of those. Not gonna make too many because I have a lot of other stuff. And definitely adding mushrooms if you want a little bit, you can. So I'm going to just, wait, everything makes a noise. I'm not gonna add a lot of mushrooms because my husband's not a big fan of mushrooms. And in meantime, I am mushroom forger. I go and in the woods and look for mushrooms and he hates mushrooms. Go figure. So he's gonna probably eat that. And so let it this basically bring to the boil. And I'm going to add my pak choy or pak choy. It's with B or P. There are two different spelling. All right. Oh my goodness, guys, we might not. We have 3 more minutes. Everything is almost ready, right? We just have to finish it. I just want that to bring to the boil. So I'm always, you know, overly enthusiastic when it comes to planning and timing because I mean soups will take a little longer, but I want to show you 3 soups that are sort of easier to make. I will post the pictures on Facebook. Oh my gosh, those thighs are guys getting pretty amazing. Soft, falling apart. I'm going to take a fork and sort of help with shredding it. And if you would have a chicken breast, you can take it out when it's very soft and basically cut it and shred it. All right, it's probably needs to stew a touch longer, right? So it's doing that. So let me finish my, I'm going to add my half a cup of my tomatillo to it. Oh, that's about half a cup. Again, we don't need a lot here. I'm going to add my cannellini beans. And this needs to stew and stew and stew. So when this, and I'm going to add the cream cheese, and they say to warm it up, but if you add to it and just sort of mix it, will get sort of creamier and dissolve in your soup and your cheese, and definitely cilantro, right? Cilantro is the key to everything. If you are DNA challenge and you cannot tolerate cilantro, I feel bad for you. You can definitely avoid it. But for those who do like cilantro, go for it. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful addition to it, and it's very detoxifying as well. All right, so this is still cooking. I'm going to let it stew a little bit longer, and I should probably start tasting a little bit of my soup, no? And see if it needs a little loving, a little salt, a little spice. Actually, no, not much. All right. So my bok choy soup is ready to go. Guys, another sort of idea for soups, and I've been making that a lot. So I often get stock or broth, whatever you have it, right? No big deal. And I will add half a bag of frozen vegetables, and they have different vegetables, whatever you like. So broth stock in that shredded chicken that I had it, and it put a little, you can make little soy sauce. It is so good. Or I don't know if any of you know, again, I'm telling about zug sauce. It's a cilantro, spicy. This is my go-to on anything, even on soup. Or you don't need to, but again, if you're seeking a simple soup and you claim that you cannot get your vegetables, this is the way to go. Carton of broth, a bag of frozen vegetables, cook it, add rotisserie chicken if you want, and you have amazing soup. Put a little Italian spices on it if you want, that's fine. Even can of tomatoes if you want to, you know, really make it super fancy. But just by itself, it's so simple and delicious. So keep that in mind. And I don't want to hear from any of you, oh, I don't know how to cook vegetables. Yes, you do. Now you buy a bag of broth, a carton of broth, you get some frozen stuff, you throw some chicken, and you are done. Okay, perfect. So my, let's assess here situation. Oh gosh, this smells, that chicken stew smells so good. Okay, so I'm adding my cannellini. This is very thick. I need to probably add more juice into that. I'm adding my tomatoes. I mean, you know what? I need to figure out how to do those with having additional camera. But so far you can see it's just a very thick soup. And can you imagine when we add the meatballs and we add our kale and zucchini, it's gonna look beautiful. So here it is. I am adding my meatballs into this as well. I'm gonna leave some for my daughter because she apparently prefers them plain. Okay, that's fine. All right, perfect. So it's almost, now I would adjust for flavor, for seasonings. This, and the meatballs, remember it has Parmesan in it, or has cheese. So it's gonna give a nice sort of flavor when it comes to the, it brings to the boil. And I'm going to add a little bit more of broth to that. So let me use my homemade stuff, and you can see it has a lot of fat on it, and I'm going to remove that. My dog probably can get some of that in to his food. So, oh my gosh, this is so gelatinous. And this is from one chicken. It's the collagen, guys. It's gonna make your skin and your joints amazing, right? So get on your chicken, cooking chicken, old school, old school. Perfect. And I'm going to add, see, I'm all over the place. I'm going to add a tablespoon of soy sauce. Kikkoman, really good brand. One, and the sesame oil, which will elevate the soup. Oh, even smells so good with just with adding. I love sesame oil, and you don't want to cook or saute with it because it's a toasted sesame oil, but adding to a soup just to finish or to dressings really makes it taste really good. So my Asian soup, hold on, let me plate that nicely. It smells very gingery. Perfect. And adding a little bit of green onion. It's hard to see it, but it's a steaming, delicious soup, Asian soup if you want the warmth. So that's done. And we are finishing our Tuscan delight. I'm going to add the kale. And again, spinach would work just fine with it, right? And zucchini, you don't want to cook zucchini for too long because they will become mush. So this is really keep it at the end. And I might finish when I serve a little dollop of the pesto sauce that I made, and actually I grew my basil from my garden. Oh my goodness, guys. Tomorrow, come over for soup. It's going to, oh, it looks so nice. Seriously. Who said vegetables or healthy eating is hard? It's not. The only thing, like sometimes we feel chopping is the big thing. But look at this. If you make big bowl soup like this, you will feed your family. You can freeze, put it in a containers. You can freeze it for later and use it. I mean, seriously, one weekend of either make the chili or make other soup and just utilize it, throughout. Very simple. Don't make too complicated, issues out of that. It shouldn't be complicated. All right, so we're almost done with that. And this needs to bring to the boil. And as I said, it just might take a little time to develop the flavors. Guys, we are, oh my goodness. That's chili, I'm telling you. If you invite someone for the chili, they will ask you for the recipe. Feel free to pass it along. Okay, so I'm adding the cream cheese. You can, as I said, the low-fat cream cheese. And you can, I'm adding the goodness of cheese. So all sort of melts together. Oh my goodness. All right, we can clean our noodles. And I'm going to add cilantro. It does not, the creaminess does not look too crazy, but oh my gosh. Absolutely divine. Did anybody cook with me and make that chili?
We did. We made all three.
Yes, seriously?
Let me see if I
Oh
can.
my gosh.
So my husband and I are both on the. My husband and I are both on the program, so we're excited to see. So we did.
Mhm.
This is the chili. It's hot,
Oh
and
my
then this one,
God.
wonton, and then this one. Ignore the mess, obviously. And this is the miso.
That looks amazing. Oh my gosh. So fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Okay,
Awesome.
good. Let me know, post your sort of servings on Facebook and let me know what you thought, which one are the best. Okay.
So
Uh,
jalapeno for the chili is a garnish.
Actually, I added you can add it on. Add it on if you like spicy, add it on. At this point, it's still, ooh, yeah. But you can add as a garnish as well. Yeah, for sure. All right. I think, hold on, there was some question. See, the problem, guys, I'm by myself except my dog Rico, who does not. What is the name of the noodle? Okay, it calls, I will post it, Konyaku, and I will post the link on the Facebook. Okay, it doesn't show, I think it's flipped. I will post it, and there are different, is it shirataki noodles or Konyaku noodles? There are under two different names. Again, great for if you make pho or if you make ramen noodle soups are fantastic. Use that because it's basically just a fiber. That's what it is. And it gives you sort of nice, I wouldn't use it in Italian dishes, but in Asian dishes are great in the soups. So use that. All right, guys. My soups are bubbling. So any questions so far? No questions. Perfect. Guys, I thank you so much for joining me, and I'm sorry for going over the time. Is 7:45, but we did pretty well. We cooked 3 soups or 3 dishes. I hope for those who did not make with us, pick one that sounds good to you and